So I want you guys to, hi, welcome back to another video to Talk Individual program. Talk individual experience. I'm getting ready to leave. All of a sudden I hear this noise, loud banging, right? It wasn't there before, but I'm going to leave. All of a sudden, again, I engaging in this noise campaign, loud banging. So let's see what's going on. Okay, well, as soon as I started recording, the noise stopped. Okay, as soon as I started recording, the noise stopped. I hear the car honking as soon as I step up my apartment building. See, this is where I record, right? So the moment I stepped out, look. Okay. Oh. All right. Like I said, as soon as I'm about to step out, you hear a loud noise. Started recording. Bang. Not that kind of bang. But it came from my apartment building. And then they stop as soon as I hit that record button. You know, like I said, people, when people talk about this stuff being done to them, no one wanted to believe them, right? But again, with the power of technology in your hands, we're at a new era in which we're able to expose a lot of things that were hidden. It wasn't really hidden, but because again, people had no proof, like police framing black men, falsely imprisoned black men, right? And you always hear this, well, if you didn't do the crime, then why are you doing the time? Or some shit like that, all right? Or if you did the crime, then you're doing the time. Shit, it's like some. And again, despite particularly my people, black people, particularly in America, in the community in which we live in, we see this shit happen all the time. Police planting drugs, making false arrests, putting a whole bunch of fake false charges. And we tend to forget that we are constantly under attack. This is a war against us, specifically, us black people. Every policy in the United States government was created to negatively impact black people, specifically. And we tend to want to ignore those things, because again, our lack of understanding of white racism, our lack of understanding of the psychological effect that these things have on us, these what I call trauma-based program in open society, specifically to negatively impact black people. Come on. All right, so just have to go get changed for the bus. So here's the thing also, right, is that how they will use the people that you grew up with, and particularly in the black community, we have to understand that, some of our Latin brothers and sisters, or Latinx brothers and sisters, or what you want to call them, Hispanic brothers and sisters, that they are highly, highly discriminatory against their black brothers and sisters, not understanding that they themselves are part black, okay? But again, the use of colorism, within our community, where in terms of where you see certain groups of people who are of the lighter complexion, they own the businesses along with, Caucasian people, right? Whereas the darker skinned people, don't really own anything. If they do, it's like a barbershop or maybe a small food, restaurant or have you. But when you look at, particularly here in New York, or you look at the bodegas, right, the vast majority used to be owned by Hispanics. But now, what white racism does is that now they're using the other group, right, which is the Arabs, the lighter skinned people, right? So now they're also pushing some of these lighter Hispanics, people who own the bodegas, out of the way. Okay, and they're not under the lighter skinned Hispanics. They're not going to say nothing. They're not going to say nothing because you know why? Hey, careful, careful there. Yeah, that dog tried to lunge at me. That's why she's standing there, right, with this dog like they're trying to scare me. It can be a police dog. As soon as I walk by the dog, it just lunged at me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, careful now. Because you're not going to have a dog, okay? So anyhow, yeah, right? So as long as it's not black people that are getting into the bodega business and it's open up the bodega business to black people, they're fine. They're fine with it. You know what I'm saying? They are totally fine with it. So this is what we have to understand. That some of them don't mean us well. Okay? It is to continue to push us at the bottom. Right? And to have economic superiority over us. All right? Just remember this. This is every policy in America. Every business in America. Banks, financial institutions. Their job is to keep black people from having any sort of financial independence. Okay? Any sort of economic independence. This is why I keep saying that every time black people make strides, we see in the past with the destruction of black towns, particularly in America, that we're doing well. Black people building things. White people destroying it because of jealousy and envy. And then want to claim black people are lazy. Which brings me to my point. Another example, right? So yesterday, it's funny, I'll tell you. Yesterday, I did laundry, right? And so I was kind of feeling kind of lazy yesterday. I didn't really want to sit down and fold laundry because sometimes, when I sit down for that long, folding laundry, I'm twisting my body, even if it's just slightly. My back begins to hurt. It gets stiffen up. So I mentioned to Pam, I said, I wanted to fold laundry, but, I was just being lazy. She was like, oh, I'm glad you said it. And I said, so what? She's like, the L word. I was like, really? I was like, you really think I'm lazy? See, I want you guys to understand how the mindset of these black women work. And it's only in the black community where you have the hyena mindset, right? Between black men and black women. So you have the hyena black woman, you have the hyena black man. So she's calling me lazy. Why? Because I'm not cleaning up her apartment as I used to. I'm not cooking as I used to because we don't have that type of relationship. And when I used to, she just took advantage. So I'm supposed to allow you now to take advantage of me, even though I have my issues, which you don't want to understand. When I do fix things in the house and my back hurts, I can't even get a back rub, a back massage, nothing. Right? You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I'm not doing, and again, this is that false sense of power they've bestowed in the mindset of black women into thinking that they can manipulate black men in such a way in which, they can tell us to do whatever we want, and even when they operate on a high level of dysfunction, we're supposed to do it anyway. Meanwhile, we're watching our children fail in school, continue to fail in school, and we're watching these women blame the school system and blame the teacher, but take no accountability for their part as the mother, right, who these children reside with. They want no responsibility, right? They don't want to help their kids with their homework. They don't want to read to their kids. I was talking the other night. I was reading my kids' bedtime story. I usually do read these African folklore stories, And I've always done that with them. Even my son, who is 14 years old, he loved to hear some of these stories because he's never heard them. There's so much African folklore that we don't know about. Like I didn't know about. I never grew up hearing these things. Okay? So my kids have the opportunity through me to hear these things, right? To understand that it's not just about these European folklores, these Hansel and Gretel, Snow White, but they have African folklores, and our children needs to hear these things, right? But we don't, because we continue to feed them the Western idea and the Western mindset, and this is a big problem within us as black people. That we know nothing about Africa, we know nothing about African tradition, right? Though we are black, we are displaced people, not displaced, and we are displaced in our minds, not displaced in our bodies, in our minds. Okay? So the European mindset have transferred within black people, and again, this is called the menticide, or the Christianized, Negropeanized mindset, and they will engage with the enemy to want us down, who speak the truth, who want to set them free, who want to make them understand what's going on. So they can do whatever they want. Because I gotta laugh at them, because their lives are going down while other people's lives are going up, right? In terms of economy, in terms of intelligence, and we continue to go down, right? And they don't want to hear it, because they bask in their ignorance, in their stupidity. Their children are failing. By the year 2035, black people have zero income as a group. They're not concerned about that shit. What they concerned about? They're concerned about Jesus. Well, fuck your Jesus, fuck your Christianity. You don't know what to do with it. Anyhow, I'll talk to you guys soon.